All right. Hey, everybody. We are going live in just a moment.
Test, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, testing. While we get everything set up, please in the comments put where are you from. We're going to be talking about where you can find some amazing positive content. This is the Accountability Success Circle, and I'm just making sure that we are actually live on the channels. So just hang tight. We will be going live here shortly.
Whoa.
Right?
So turn off your notifications, but
Yeah.
that just means that LinkedIn picked you up because that was the
Oh, you got a
thing.
notification. All right, cool. We are going to be going live here shortly. And hopefully this time you could actually see Gary. Because before, I was just a black box. So just hang tight. Hang tight. I'm just getting everything situated.
Yum.
Yes. All right. We are going... I'm going to just try it on this device. So I'm going to make sure that I am not a black box.
Or am I a black
I
box?
know. We will see who is a black box and who is not a black box. But that's great that LinkedIn said that I am live.
Yes, and I have it up now on the
Cool.
screen.
Awesome. Cool. So you can see it because I can't see it on mine. I haven't been
Yeah.
alerted.
I'll watch on LinkedIn from my phone.
All
I'll
right.
just
Cool. So we are going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, and
wait for it.
wait for it. Wait for it. And 1. Hello, everybody.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yes. We are the success team of the Accountability Success Circle. I am Gary Ware, and I am joined by...
April Schluter, like whatever direction we are.
I know, right? And this week, we are going to be talking about where you can find positive sources of news and data because we are still in the midst of COVID-19. And, I don't know about you, but it is just sometimes overwhelming and a little addictive to just try to stay informed, but it starts to wear on your psyche. What do you think, April?
I totally agree. I mean, I think that there's gotten to a point where I don't do Google searches anymore for coronavirus, which was very much the way of the world at the beginning,
Yes.
because I've been able to hone in on the important news, and a lot of it I'll get from my husband. So he'll talk about stuff on a daily basis, but I've been able to focus on whatever content that gives me the information, but then also keeps me sane, and then that right counterbalance of really great content that either helps distract my mind or gives me that energy boost. So, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So buckle your seatbelts and let's jump on in. So the first thing that we want to talk about is people who are aggregators of good news. And it's interesting that it's so challenging to find that because don't get me started on most news sources in that I feel like they are really prying on fear and just to get people wanting to tune in. And if you are looking for that good news, that's going to give you that right set of dopamine to make you feel good and help you get through this. We have a few of our favorites, and I'm just curious if you have some, put them in the chat. But the first one, this is a newer one. This is by John Krasinski, who played Jim on The Office. He started doing some good news. You can find that on YouTube, and it is just amazing. They're up to episode 3. I believe episode 4 will be come up next week. But they've had everything from the original Hamilton cast surprising this young girl who was not able to see Hamilton on Broadway because of COVID, and they got the original cast to sing to her. This last one, they surprised some healthcare workers in Boston with lifetime tickets to see the Boston Red Sox, and essentially all that John is doing is curating good news. And so he even says it. He's like, I'm not the person that's coming up with this. I'm finding them and I'm sharing them with all of you. So that's what I have. April, what's the one that you want to talk about?
Yeah, and I mean, it is really interesting because this has been something that, COVID or no COVID, I have always been trying to advocate for positive news, and I do that in my little own way with my show that I've been running for almost 2.5 years called Cheerful Conversations. It's a little bit more, focused on a conversation, but one aspect of that show is that we look for positive news, whether it is something that's happening to us directly, whether it's something that we see online that's positive, or if it's something that we know that has happened to somebody close to us. But the whole concept is just trying to push the energy. So there's a lot of different websites that I have over the history of the last 2 years of this show have had to look for, ways that this information is, kind of isolated, and it's kind of sad because you never see those things on headlines, and maybe it's not the top heavy hitting thing, but it's more about the emotion that it brings you and just the attempts to focus on the positive, because we've mentioned in previous quickies that sometimes it takes three or more positive instances to offset a negative one. So I always am in this place of trying to look for that positive news. So one of the sources that I found early on was just if you're a CNN viewer, they actually have a segment, or it's actually a newsletter, but I don't subscribe. But it's also a website, and it's called CNN The Good Stuff. There's also Cheerful Conversations, which you can check out on my YouTube if you ever just need a dose of positivity with a positive conversation around a specific topic. We are up to episode, I think, 46 or 47 right now. So that's really awesome. Other websites that I've heard about, one is theweek.com. There's a couple more that I forgot to write in our notes, but there's a whole bunch of them out there. But I mean, even if you Google good news, or if you have questions, definitely come reach out to me, because I can definitely help you find what you're looking for. So yeah, that's tip number one.
Woohoo! And we will make sure to put excuse me, those links in the notes section, because April, she's had some amazing guests, some amazing conversations. So love that. And time to go. Oh, yes.
I wanted to share one more thing on number one.
Yes.
The other piece, even if it's not necessarily news, but it's still good, in the sense of just like watching some really good comedy. That was something that it's not necessarily good news, but it's something that it still brings that feel of energy. So even if you're watching like the late night shows where they are talking about news and then they're trying to bring a funny spin to it, maybe it's not absolutely true, but it is something that will get you laughing and instill positivity. So I would count that as an aggregator of good news. Cool. Even if they're ragging on someone.
Yes.
So, number two,
these are platforms of positivity. So what are some platforms that you can be a member of that is focused on the positive, side of things, that have people that are going to support you and help you, whether that be mastermind groups, one that, and that's why we're here. We run the Accountability Success Circle, and, yes, our main thing is to help you get more done while having fun at the same time. But we have, especially lately, in the midst of everything that's going on with COVID, we have been putting a lot of events that we've been curating ourselves from the members and putting that out there, just to give the people that are part of it, something else to look forward to, whether it be laughter yoga. We have some improv stuff. We have our monthly webinar, that
Coming
is
up tomorrow.
tomorrow. But again, what sort of platforms out there can you become a member of that can support you and bring that bit of positivity? What's your thought, April?
I agree. Again, the our first tip was more about, sources of media. So something a little bit more tangible. The second tip is, or the second option is more people focused. Where does positive energy congregate? And this could be something, obviously now we've got to find things virtually. So there's a bunch of platforms, which I would just say that the best option is the Accountability Success Circle, but neither here nor there. But really making sure that you're surrounding yourself with the right type of energy, right? Because let's say Facebook was a platform. I wouldn't necessarily say it's always a platform for positivity, because everybody has that opportunity to just, air whatever they want to say, whatever feeling. Whereas there are some other platforms that are trying to preserve the positive piece. Or there's websites where you can just rant all day long. So you need to, again, just like in the first tip, you need to follow the energy that you want. And I'm hoping if you're watching this, you're craving more positivity. So yeah, just join the ASC. Just check us out.
Yeah. And that's at accountabilitysuccesscircle.com. Yes, I love that. And it brings us to the very last one. And this is a platform that we all have, that sometimes we overlook, and it's internally. There are things that we can control and things that we can't control. And one of the things that we can control is how we show up and how we look at things. And, April said earlier, when there is something negative that happens, you need 6 positives to counteract that. And
I never get my data right.
It's all good. Don't even trip. Yeah, April's that optimistic that she's like, you know what? I believe you can do it in half. And
I like cutting corners.
Right? She's like, you know what? No, how can I do this faster? But when you think about the whole idea about bringing more positivity, how can you do it internally, especially when there is a lot that's going on, and a few things that you can do to look internally is, the first thing is gratitude. Dr. Marcy Beagle, she's a good friend of both of ours. She focuses on behavior, especially with children and whatnot. She was giving some advice to a lot of parents who were, struggling right now with their kids are, having nightmares and stressed. And she said, before you go to bed, have the kids, say what are 5 things that they're grateful for. And, that doesn't just work for kids, that works for you and me as, adults, because the last thing that you think about when you go to sleep is what you probably will, ruminate over and, think about when you wake up. So I know I'm guilty of this a lot as well. Is you check your phone before you go to bed, and then boom, that stuff is in your head. But imagine if before you lay down, you made it a habit to think of things that you're grateful for. And so that's a way to get close to that 6 number. April, what do you have?
I agree with all of this. And, what's interesting is that, if you are somebody that is striving to be more positive in general, you don't actually realize that you are creating content on your own that is positive. And so one of the things that I like to think about when, I'm looking for positive things that I have created is to even, do some journaling or look back at journal entries from prior, just to get that sense of maybe even a little bit of nostalgia. And, on the whole vein of nostalgia, there are, you could probably check your Facebook memories from however many years ago. Hopefully they're positive content, but even photo albums, or that is all considered positive content, if you consider it positive content. But it is an option to seek out positivity. it might also make you sad because you're like, I'm holed up in my house, this sucks. But really just put yourself into that place of wherever you were before and getting in that reflective mode, because the positivity is actually within you. I know that sounds kind of a little woo woo, but it's so true. I mean, I love, even just being on Facebook when the few times that I'm on there and I see a video from 6 years ago of my kids or something like that. It's something I totally forgot about. Joy. And we have to seek those things out. So if you're feeling down and you need something, you can kind of go to those areas and just, kind of sit with yourself and, find that positivity again. So,
Yeah.
yay!
I love that.
Those are our 3 tips.
Yeah, those are our 3 tips. If there was one that you liked, more than other, just let us know in the comments. If you have some tips on how you are able to, seek out that positive content, let us know in the comments as well.
Yeah.
We are.
You post in the comments if you can.
Yes.
One of the things that made me laugh a lot yesterday
Tell
was
me.
somebody sent me a TikTok video of this one teacher that was like, oh, she like picked up a ukulele and she was like, one of the things that I've learned with all this e-learning, like I wrote a song about it and the song was hilarious. So I'll post that on the links and just
Yeah.
so that everyone can see because I like literally laughed hysterically. So
Love
um,
that.
yeah.
Yes. Yes, we have been your success team. We're the Accountability Success Circle, where it's our mission to, help you get more done while having more fun. And if you are interested in a platform of positivity that is not only going to support you, but help lift your spirits, check us out at the accountabilitysuccesscircle.com.
Yes.
Yes,
Come hang out.
come hang out with us. And
Yep.
yeah, anything else, April, before we say bye?
Nope, I think that's it. So we'll see you again, and we'll just keep on bringing some of these like positive tips to help you kind of get through this. And I think as the longer that we kind of sit in this time period, um, the more I guess normalized this is starting to become, which we can also start thinking about, in the near future when hopefully the conversation starts to shift towards reopening. How can we do this in a positive way
Yes.
without so we've got a lot more tips to come, and if there's anything that you're struggling with during this time, I feel like we're kind of in like the middle of where we're gonna be before everything starts to kick back into high gear again. But if there's anything that you're ever struggling with and you just you think it would be really great to just get some clarity or some support around a certain topic like that we could share as a quickie, please let us know.
Yes.
So, all right, and until next week ish, we'll see you again.
Yeah. Cool.
I hear your sound effects very, very faintly, but I love it.
Yes.